Hey guys, it's Steven. Got a Bytes chart update for you. So we left off at the beginning of the week here around Monday on the 11th. And as you can see, we started off just below the central pivot for the week, which is at about $12. And we actually almost came up and tested that. And from there, we obviously had a pretty bearish week so far. So all the way to Friday here. And yeah, so not so good. If you look at the calculations, we are at let's see, 8.3, and we'll just do the high of 1180. So um, almost about 30% approximately downturn over the past week here. So but what is really interesting is the fact that we finally have really came in and touched this first pivot support here with a little bit of volume. So we really haven't touched this support in over a month. So last time this happened, obviously a very good buying opportunity where if you bought at the low, you had to move from $8 to over $16. So 100% opportunity there, and you could even take that a little bit more conservatively. Maybe you just bought at 10, you could have sold still for 50%, no problem. So pretty powerful there. So uh, I feel like we are really getting into this position here with Bytes where there's really just no reason to sell below $10. And this is definitely playing into my strategy as far as liquidity pool mining. So if you're not familiar, I was providing liquidity for a while and using that for income at these higher prices. But once we started dipping below a certain price, I decided it was just much better to just accumulate the bytes, and actually I did end up trading this a little bit. So I did buy this dip and sell. I was able to, if you look back at my previous videos, I was able to make some pretty good trades. And it's a more profitable thing to do when you have such volatility and such a low supply token here, as far as market cap. So I guess that's basically it. So we don't, I don't personally, strategy wise, I don't want to provide liquidity, although, I could have easily just provided liquidity like ETH support and bytes between maybe this 36 to 29. So if we look at that in the chart, between 12 and 10, something like that, we obviously could have got a pretty good amount of the volume. But the risk is that you don't make enough money in fees to make up for your liquidity. So for example, if I were to provide liquidity now, which is something I could think about, assume I provide liquidity from let's just call it from 28 to 36 here. So um, once this moves, whatever this is, maybe about 30% here, I no longer have my bytes, and I'm kind of missing this upside. And my point is that the fees that you make by doing the liquidity pool probably won't make up for whatever upside move there may be. So for me, I'm thinking there could easily be another 100% move like that, just around the corner. There's no reason why, with all these projects that are coming out, all the cool things that are being built, there's too much opportunity for me to just put my bytes to work and possibly have them all taken away in a foul swoop of a tweet. So just wanted to point that out, and let's just go ahead and check in on the liquidity. So overall, looking pretty decent. Not much support below. So, there's always that lower level that we could reach, and wouldn't be a bad thing. So yeah, full disclosure, I did just buy this dip. I'm kind of putting my money where my mouth is, and I feel like this is such a good value that the upside is so much higher than the downside, right? So, right now we're at 0.00275. So I'm looking at possibly moving from, let's see here. It's 370. So the goal is the central pivot here at 370. And right now we're at 275. So yeah, 34% upside here. Relatively easy. I mean, that's a great trade for anybody. So that's basically the plan. And if we do get that move, maybe it's a bullish move and it keeps going. So buying the dips is definitely key. And then also you want to look at the downside too, right? So if we're at 275, let's just see, and say we go to, let's just call it 24, where the support is. So 240 divided by 275. So 87, so that's over 12%, right? So you have a 12% downside and an over 30% upside. So these are the types of risk reward trades that I want to make. And yeah, so I mean, that's basically the gist of it here. So I'm going to move on to the blood token. So if you're part of the Neo Tokyo community, you most likely went ahead and claimed your imposters. And I definitely want to go over what I'm thinking about with this liquidity pool. I definitely did see this dump coming. Obviously, I don't have the tokens to sell. I only have one, but if you're a whale and you have 100, you're making something like 10, 5 grand, a day. So easily, sellable here. So, what we saw is we started off at basically 10 cents here. And for the market cap, if you see here, there's a total of 200 million supply. So at 0.01, that is a $20 million market cap. And that's what we saw. And from there, we saw a huge takeoff in the price of bytes. A bunch were bytes, I'm sorry, blood. A bunch of blood was bought up on the market and then actually hit a high of $1. So that's almost a $200 million market cap, almost a 10x. So obviously unsustainable. A few things that I'm looking at token economics wise is, I just tried to make it simple, and I'm going to be making a spreadsheet. And in this spreadsheet, there's a few things I'm going to take into account. So, the first thing is how much sell pressure is there going to be? If there is 10,000 imposters, what if 10,000 imposters are staked? And what if 10% of the blood tokens are being sold on the market, right? So that's just kind of a structure mathematically that I'm going to create. And then as we see how this plays out, we're able to adjust the exact numbers, but the metrics and the calculations will be the same. So we need to figure out how much sell pressure there is, how many tokens are coming in, and really, we also have to look at the liquidity pool. I mean, this is imperative for the blood token. So some pretty interesting developments. So when this first came on here, let's see, we get to the first page here. Basically, Elio came in. He added 2 million blood to the liquidity pool, and he also added 49 ETH to the liquidity pool. So I'm not sure the exact status of how all this Ethereum came into be. Maybe after he added that, he was able to readjust liquidity to add all this ETH. I'm not sure exactly how that worked, but as you can see, what happened is we had this huge spike from basically nothing to all the way up to this higher number here. And then this is when we settled on the blood token, right about in this range here, almost the high. And as we settled in on the high, we had this huge wall of basically just Ethereum tokens come in ready to support the price. And my calculations were it was about 2 ETH, 2.5 ETH per kind of zone here. So if you zoom in on these zones, each of these are called ticks. So for each tick, this is about a 2%. This is about a 2% area here. So the price has to move 2% each way to move in and out of these ticks. So we saw what happened was basically the whales who were able to have a bunch of their tokens were basically just able to sell into all this ETH, and that's exactly what happened. And then why wouldn't you? I mean, with such a high valuation, and like I said, there's a possibility of 1 million of these tokens coming in. You know, just do the math on that. Even cut the fact that, you know, let's just assume that only half of the imposters are staked. That's still 500,000 blood, and that's not even accounting for the bonuses. So even if assume it's 500,000 blood tokens coming into the ecosystem, and assume a price of 50 cents, that's $250,000 worth of sell pressure. And then you look at not sell pressure, but possible sell pressure. But then you look at how much Ethereum is in the liquidity pool. So 149 times 3,000. So, you know, there's only $500,000 worth of liquidity in the pool. So you see what I'm getting at. I'm not saying that this is going to control the price. The fact that, you know, 500,000 blood are being on the market, but this is definitely something that we need to calculate, right? And then from there, we can assume, okay, there's 500,000 blood tokens being generated. Well, how many are being sold? And that's exactly what I'm looking at right now. So, you know, from my calculations, I'm going to do a little bit more in-depth study on this, but essentially it's looking like it's about 250,000, I'm guessing, are being sold on the market right now. So, you know, and this is just one calculation. You know, after that, we need to account for the market cap, right? We need to figure out, well, what's a fair value? Because, you know, obviously people are going to sell if it's a very valuable token, if it's at a good price, but there's going to be a price, and there's going to be a time when blood token is needed, and there's going to be a value where blood token is super valuable, right? So this is where we need to do a little bit of research. We need to do a little bit of outside the box thinking. So, you know, for my sheet and for my calculations, I'm going to pull from a few different things. So the first thing I'm going to pull from is the super farm token. So looking at the super farm token, how many holders are there? Are there 100,000 holders? Are there more? Okay, so we're going to account for how many super farm holders, and then we're going to account for how many holders there are for the blood token, right? So if there's 10,000 holders, okay, so right now it's valued at about 1/10 of super farm as far as you know, engagement, right? So that's one thing. And then I'm also going to look at Neo Tokyo bytes for metrics, right? So we're going to look at how many holders are inside Neo Tokyo, and kind of use this as like a low end for the blood token. So if you know, if the blood token really takes up maybe more members, you know, it's just going to be a little bit of a challenge just to kind of move the numbers around, but really want to compare it, right? So if we have the Neo Tokyo bytes at an $8 million market cap right now, and then we have blood token at 68 million, well, you know, maybe maybe this user base is only 10x what the bytes user system is, right? What Neo Tokyo is. So we're basically at that value in a way when you think about it, because this is about 10x the market cap. So definitely a lot of things to think about. And yeah, I don't want to keep droning on about this, but like I said, I'm going to get more details and try to really get something something useful out for the community, like a spreadsheet. So if you have any questions on that, let me know, and I will catch you guys next time.